strike is a lightning strike. We are back for round 5 of this Swiss here at here at Norwalk Unrated Gaming. I am so extremely excited actually for this round 5. I was looking at this team sheet and I think I might actually cry because this is one of my favorite Pokemon ever.
These teams are lit.
They are literally fire or ice, depending. And so we've got for you Hayley Aldworth, who is a master versus the only senior that we actually have consistently coming, Ben Lee.
But Ben is very good. He's like consistently played at Masters level events.
He's actually at 3-1 right now.
Yeah,
in this,
3-1 at a Masters PC as a senior. Like honestly, he does this like pretty often. He's good.
Yeah, so we're just bringing you guys like kind of a fun team before we go into Top Cut, because most of the people you've seen in Top Cut have already played today. For those of you who may not be aware of Hayley, she is very well known in our region, and for people who know her, for bringing a Stoutland, her favorite dog ever. And it is one scary dog. I have never won a round against her, and
it always kills my Landorus.
It's a very, very scary team to go up against.
Yeah.
Whereas Ben is running something a little more unconventional, but
It's
and I will
super
say
cool.
the reason I like it is anybody who knows me knows that Generation 3 Hoenn region is my favorite, and there is some choice Pokemon on this team that are absolutely like my favorite Pokemon in that region. And right now we've got for you on the left side, which is Hayley's, that Garchomp, Tapu Fini, Tyranitar, Celesteela, Zapdos, and of course that Stoutland that she's known for. And Ben's side, that Aggron, oh my gosh, Mimikyu, Tapu Lele, Milotic, Tapu Koko, and Amoonguss. As you can tell, I'm super, super excited for this Aggron and for this Milotic.
So Hayley's been running this archetype for a very long time.
It's a scary archetype. I mean, it works for her.
And don't underestimate the Garchomp. Even though Landorus is something that is seen to outclass Garchomp, Garchomp is still faster than Charizard Mega Y, as well as resisting fire. So in that specific context, it's actually worth looking into as a ground UND user.
Well, and also, I mean, like, her, you know, that Stoutland getting that ability that gives it that boost, that Sand Rush ability, especially with that Tyranitar, like, and I mean, I don't know.
It opens her so many options.
God, it's so terrifying, especially with that After You. Like, she's got a lot of she's got a lot of potential to just hit heavy from the get-go.
You have to cover like 3-4 things at once, and if you mess them up, you lose.
Yeah, and like that Stoutland is, you know, we talk a lot about like type matchups here. Normal types in this format, they're really hard to hit sometimes. Like, you know, you've seen that with like Snorlax, Porygon too. Stoutland's not something you'd think about for that, but it is definitely something that's scary. But on Ben's side, you know, some really random Pokemon on there. That Aggron, you know what? If this Mega Aggron like shows up, I might actually shed a tear. I've been talking about wanting to run it, and I'm not good enough to be able to pilot it. So I'm glad to see somebody who is and who's going against that. So we will have Hayley on your screen for you guys here as Ben leads with that Mimikyu, Tapu Koko. Anybody having 17 flashbacks?
Oh my god.
As I forgot nicknames were a thing now on here. As Hayley has that Garchomp, Celesteela lead on her side of the field. It's been a while since I played Hayley, actually, so
this situation, I think, will come down to a game of chicken, in my opinion, because I think Hayley really wants to remove the Mimikyu and prevent the Trick Room setup with this lead that she has, but it's also that the Celesteela is threatened by the Koko that is present.
This is true. I mean, you know, Tapu Koko has so many options to be able to kind of like have his items. Maybe it's like that Gigable Havoc one, but even any sort of electric attack boosted by terrain is going to do a lot of damage to that Celesteela. It's a really bulky Pokemon, and you know, knowing Hayley running possibly the same set of Celesteela, like there is a couple things that I just remember from, you know, countless nightmare matchups against Hayley. That Celesteela is no sleeping giant. That thing is going after things, but we have that Dazzling Gleam doing a lot of damage to this Garchomp. Not doing a lot to Celesteela, obviously, but revealing that Life Orb as we have the Earthquake from the Garchomp going to connect to that Tapu Koko and that Mimikyu. We're going to break through the skies on the Mimikyu and almost, but not quite, knock out that Tapu Koko.
Most likely, that's going to be a heavy slam onto the Mimikyu, but Koko actually living after Life Orb recoil, that must have some bulky investment.
And this Garchomp actually going to be knocked out because of that Play Rough from that Mimikyu. That super effectiveness, and I don't...
Flash Cannon is a special set. Nice.
Alright, so, Flash Cannon not quite picking up that knockout either, so Hayley losing her Pokemon on there, but does massive damage to Ben's Pokemon. But again, no knockout from that. No Beast Boost potential for Celesteela, as we have that Tyranitar with that Sandstream bringing in that Sandstorm. Gonna do residual chip damage, some chip damage to Ben's Pokemon at the end of like that next turn.
I really like the position that Hayley is in right now. Not necessarily the board state that we see here, but the fact that she was able to make a very good turn 1 trade. She basically knocked out almost 2 Pokemon, even though neither of them have actually fainted, for a knockout on one of her own Pokemon. And right now it looks a little bit shaky, but I think Hayley's Sand and other forms of chip damage will be able to close this out.
I mean, because I think there's only one Pokemon, with like 2 Pokemon on her side that would get hit by that sand, but it offers like that special defense boost, especially to that Tyranitar, which against fairies does not have a very fun time. And Hayley Mega evolving her Tyranitar into that Mega Tyranitar. I think it's the first Mega Tyranitar we've seen today. As Tapu Koko goes for the Thunderbolt into that Celesteela slot, does a lot of damage to it, but not enough to knock that out.
That is not a normal Celesteela. That is calculated to live that.
But Mimikyu going for Destiny Bond, so going to be taking down its attacker with it. A really popular moveset that's been coming back recently. As that Tyranitar, going for that Rock Slide, does knock out that Mimikyu, and that is actually a rough turn for Hayley, losing that Tyranitar from the get-go because of that Destiny Bond. That full health Tyranitar saying bye. Taking down 2 Pokemon with it, sure, but that's a little rough.
What a wild ride. 2 back-to-back turns of crazy trades. But I think at the end of turn 2, Ben is the one that will come out on top because of the way the Mega Tyranitar has fainted.
And Tapu Lele coming in onto that slot. Not gonna like that Flash Cannon, obviously, from that Celestia that we've seen. And Aggron hitting the field as Psychic Terrain takes over this Electric Terrain. And this Stoutland with that Sand Rush ability. It is gonna be an extremely fast boy.
Very fast boy.
It is a good dog. It is a fast dog, and it has that After You ability as well. And maybe the Celesteela is still sitting there at 37 health, but it can deal a lot of damage to that Tapu Lele, like Flash Cannon.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. This Celesteela being specially inclined, I think, is very interesting because if you look at that in the context of Incineroar being more popular, it makes a lot of sense. But in this particular matchup, I think Hayley is finding herself missing the Heavy Slam.
And Mega Aggron from Ben's side of the field, getting that evolution on there. But Charm from Hayley's Stoutland. What is this? This girl never fails to surprise me.
It's unpredictable, seriously.
Like, getting that attack falling onto that Aggron. Psychic does clean up that Celesteela, leaving this Stoutland to be the only one on here. But that Fire Punch from Aggron, not going to be doing as much damage thanks to that Charm. And, that Sandstorm only going to be hitting... that Tapu Lele, and hey, Hayley's not out of it yet. She's still got this Stoutland, and that
she's going
Aggron.
to need some big damage on the Lele for that to work.
All right, and so return going to the Lele, and is that enough big damage? Not
that is a lot of damage.
Quite
wow.
enough. But that Psychic is on boosted terrain is going to be not quite enough to pick it up. But that Aggron with a Heavy Slam will be giving game 1 to Ben.
Yeah. I was really liking Hayley's position at the start of the game, but that was under the assumption that
Mimikyu was not carrying Destiny Bond.
Well, also that, but I think the Celesteela being a specially based set is not very well matched up currently against the threats that Celesteela wants to remove.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's something that Hayley will have to reevaluate maybe position the 4 differently, even if he brings the same 4. Or maybe she could choose to adapt and bring a different set of Pokemon, but I think that's something that comes down like game per game, set per set. So I just want to see how she reacts to something that I believe is completely foreign to her, because I've never seen a team like that before. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm like super into this team, and I think it's really great. But I also think that Hayley obviously understands like the shortcomings of her team, so I think her adjustment has to be kind of what can she do to, one, get rid of like that Tapu Koko and that Mimikyu before that Mimikyu can use Destiny Bond. And I think that's what would really hurt her, because before this past weekend, that's not something I would say is common on Mimikyu as much anymore. Like it's not like, especially after the release of that Mimikyu Z and that like Let's Snuggle Forever, that was something you'd see more often. But to have Destiny Bond on there and just kind of taking that Tyranitar immediately, I think is going to kind of force Hayley to really think about like, how do I go after this Pokemon?
Yeah, and I know I said earlier that I don't think the Celesteela's special set is very well matched up against Lele and Mimikyu, but I think her goal for this game should be to preserve the Celesteela as much as possible, because if it didn't take the Thunderbolt from the Tapu Koko, then Lele at the end would not have the issue.
And I think it's one of those things where you think back to the 2017 format where Celesteela versus Lele, like 9 times out of 10, your Celesteela is gonna win, and we there's not a lot of details that we know outside of the Celesteela. Like, I think it might still be the same Celesteela set, so not sure though, like, if she's gonna reveal that it might have Leaf Seed, or maybe it doesn't. Because that's what made Celesteela so frustrating to deal with back in 2017.
Yeah.
But going into this game 2, Ben Lee versus Hayley Aldworth in our last round of Swiss here at Norwalk in Unrated Gaming, we now have a little bit of a change in lead from Hayley, leading with a Tyranitar and the Celesteela, as Amoonguss and Mimikyu is the lead of choice on Ben's side.
I really like that adaptation from Ben, actually, because
These
I
big
think...
children versus tiny children.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's I just think that I just thought Ben's lead there, his adjustment, is really clever, because I was talking about how Heavy Slam fails to get instant KOs on the fairy types that Hayley wants to remove. So what he's doing here is he's just going for the Trick Room, and I'm assuming he has the Aggron in the bag, and he's just going to try to roll you under Trick Room, and the Amoonguss is there for that to happen no matter what.
Oh yeah, and like, cause I mean, even Celesteela, like, even though it enjoys being slow and in Trick Room, that Amoonguss so slow.
And Aggron's like slower and it hits harder, so you know, like,
yeah.
we'll see when it gets to that. But what I really think is important for Hayley here is that I think she kind of has to accept that she doesn't have the tools on the board right now to address that board that Ben made. So maybe the goal here is to Rock Slide and hope for a flinch.
You know, that is a fair point, because she also has to break that disguise on there, and so I think she's going to be a little bit more wary going after that Mimikyu because of that Destiny Bond, but the Rage Powder from Amoonguss, like you had mentioned before, does give Mimikyu the opportunity to go for a Trick Room. But yeah, Ice Punch from Tyranitar going to that Amoonguss does a little bit over half damage. Hayley just going after that Amoonguss just straight from the get-go does pick up the knockout on it with that flamethrower. That is a scary Celesteela right there, and we're gonna get that Beast Boost, so we finally get to see what it is. And it's a special attack Beast Boost, which a little bit different than what we usually see, but Trick Room does go up, but that Amoonguss is now gone from Ben's side, so not gonna be able to capitalize as much.
I expected a specially defensive Celesteela, but this seems to be a specially offensive Celesteela that happens to have a specially defensive item.
That Celesteela is offensive to me. It gives me nightmares every time I fight it.
It's like a bit of both, right? It tries to attack and take hits, and you know, it's really difficult to get right because that requires a particular balance.
Well, Hayley's Celesteela isn't passive at all, like most Celesteela are. And now that Aggron, though, coming into the Trick Room, like you had said before, that Mimikyu being able to set it up, so this Aggron just kind of being able to do some damage, because it's a slow, heavy mon, which I'm okay with. But I mean, against like this Tyranitar, which is Mega Evolved, and three of the 4 Pokemon on here are benefiting from the Sandstorm right now.
Yeah, and the Heavy Slam, I think, is not going to do that much damage because both targets that Ben has are very heavy. So even if the hit on Tyranitar is very effective, it still won't be hitting for like, you know, like
massive damage like it would
KO level damage, just because of how Mega Tyranitar is a massive stat ball.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things about Heavy Slam is like understanding, hey, it's super effective, but it also takes into account the weight difference, like the weight between each Pokemon.
Well, let's
but
see
Mega Aggron, so Mega Aggron now on the field as going for that Fire Punch into the Celesteela slot, and Flamethrower from Celesteela going to be matching fire type moves here, going to connect with that Mega Aggron. Gets it to a little under half on there, as low kick is actually going to be enough to finish it. Not quite enough to finish it off, but Destiny Bond from Mimikyu. And so, if I remember correctly, the Destiny Bond mechanic works in the way that as long as if you hit it before its next turn is over and kill it, or sorry, knock it out, then you get knocked out with it, right?
Yes.
So.
But I don't think Mimikyu will be targeted anytime soon, because at least the assumption that I made going into turn 1 was that Aggron is able to set up and sweep. Well, not set up, but like come under Trick Room and do big damage. But it just so happens that Hayley was very ready for a mono steel thread. Maybe it might even be better for Ben to not Mega Evolve his Aggron if it goes to a game 3. Purely because of the fact that the Sandstorm boost is honestly very significant, but also the fact that Celesteela is now doing half health worth of damage with every flamethrower.
But I also think that the trade-off in terms of so Hayley actually going for the protect on the Tyranitar on this turn as heavy slam, going to that protected slot. So Hayley reading that very nicely as the flame throw is going to pick up that knockout on the Aggron. I think though, and like that Mimikyu, the Destiny Bond will be over for it on this turn, getting another special attack boost. So now the Celesteel's at +2 special attack, and Mimikyu using Trick Room once more, going to reverse that, reverse those dimensions again. Doesn't want to be at a disadvantage now for that speed, but I think Ben Mega evolving is a little bit better because that sturdy. Because if it does half health, that sturdy ability won't be useful for him anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. And the low kick would have hit it for quadruple effectiveness.
And so now Ben's going to be bringing that Tapu Koko in the back, so good choice for him to reverse that Trick Room so Tapu Koko can freely attack in this. We did see it did a lot of damage to that Celesteela, and the Celesteela doesn't have the defensive boosts that other Celesteela carries, so a Thunderbolt should be enough to kind of knock it out at this range.
Yeah, and with the Trick Room undone, which was a great play coming from Ben, he now requires Hayley to make positional adjustments or, you know, force a 2v2, and I think Hayley gets the memo, and now she's playing in a way that lets her conserve her big threats like Celesteela.
Yeah, so very nice call from Hayley on there. Gonna be switched out that Celesteela for the Garchomp, taking that Thunderbolt for no damage at all because of that, and that the Tyranitar switching into the Stoutland switching into that Tyranitar, taking that play rough from that Mimikyu.
Yeah, she covered options from both Pokemon with that switch. I really like that because the Fairy type damage was not stacked on the Pokemon that she was switching into, so that just reduces the chance of her getting punished for switching.
Right. And Tapu Koko protecting itself this turn as
after
you failing on there because
it's the fastest, I believe.
Oh,
after Koko protected. Maybe that's why. I'm not terribly accustomed to this either, but that's my guess.
Oh, I totally forgot that Mimikyu's disguise hadn't been broken yet because of the fact that it's only been taking Sandstorm damage. But it goes for the play rough into that Garchomp slot, not enough to knock it out. The Sandstorm does subside on here, and does that not have rough skin?
Now this is like some decision time. I think Hayley wants to bring Sandsoon just to keep up the momentum with the Stoutland. Just because that way she has a proactive way to punish Koko.
I also just realized that Garchomp does not have rough skin like I'm used to.
Oh,
which means it's I think the other ability for it is Sandveil.
Yes.
Wow. So Hayley really playing to the Sandstorm strain. So that Stoutland gonna be switched out for that Tyranitar, bringing back that Sandstorm mode, and gonna be doing some more damage to that Mimikyu because of residual, because of that chip damage as this Garchomp goes for the protect, and Dazzling Gleam from Tapu Koko only going to connect with this Tyranitar, would have knocked out that Garchomp otherwise. Does not that much damage into that Tyranitar.
Oh, that would be visible. Ouch.
But Mimikyu and Tapu Koko going after that Tyranitar a little bit. Again, that Life Orb damage though, for super effective, is still kind of sneeze damage.
Hayley needs to watch out. I think she's spreading herself thin here in terms of all 4 of her mons having taken heavy damage, and now they're all at a range where Tapu Koko can just pick them apart one by one. So maybe it might have been better for the Garchomp to not protect and get a free switch in. Or double switch and preserve the Garchomp for a switch in into the Thunderbolt.
Yeah, I mean, hey, having 4 Pokemon like you had said, doesn't mean you have that advantage because yeah, all her Pokemon are like different health now. And now this Tapu Koko going for that Dazzling Gleam actually gets the double knockout onto both that Tyranitar and that Garchomp, leaving that Celesteela and that Stoutland in the back to come in. But those Pokemon are at very low health. That Mimikyu has no target to attack, but both of these Pokemon are going to be taking that chip damage from that Sandstorm. This Mimikyu, is only getting hit basically from that Sandstorm.
The only saving grace for Hayley here, I think, is the ability to use Stoutland, but she'll have to think really hard about whether she wants to conserve it or attack with it now, because it's very, very likely for Koko to protect it, and then Mimikyu to attack into the Stoutland.
Right, and she still has that After You ability too, so that Sandrush ability, giving it that double speed, is gonna make that Stoutland, which, crazy, is a normal type dog, like one of the fastest things on the field. Like, what a wild concept.
Oh, what if she can't protect her Stoutland here, because we have not seen Hayley use protect on her Celesteela. Maybe it doesn't have it.
I mean, Hayley's gonna have to make a really hard choice here because she had that lead from before, getting that double knock, getting that knockout on the Aggron and that Amoonguss, And I think now she's kind of forced to make hard choices here and figure out what is Ben going to try to protect on here, and can that Mimikyu protect? But actually going for the return.
This is the big damage it needs.
Into that Tapu Koko, not quite enough to pick up that knockout on there, as Tapu Koko goes for the Thunderbolt into that Celesteela, picks up the knockout there, leaving that Mimikyu free to go for a player up potentially into
That's a very interesting set from Ben, because he's been living a lot of things that I believe are... well, here it is. The Z move, the big damage.
Is that Z Destiny Bond? Just kidding.
I think this is going to be big damage.
But yeah, so I mean... That's unfortunate. Like that Z move, which we saw with the Ghost Z, not gonna be touching obviously that normal type Pokemon.
Yeah.
But now, if Hayley doesn't have a way to touch that Mimikyu, if it only has Return, we already know it has Sand Rush from that.
Yeah, we have Return after you.
Oh, that's right. She has her Z move. That Icy
Oh my god.
The Icium Z Z move. I always forget this is the thing that also gives me nightmares. The first time I saw it, I was so confused.
Yeah, that's what.
So Icium Z, that Sub-Zero Slammer from this dog, gonna be going into that tiny Mimikyu. Yeah, Hayley's full of surprises.
Yeah.
She's a scary person.
So exciting to play against.
Okay, that's one way to say yes. But does pick up the knockout on there, forcing a game 3. So she does obviously have a way to touch that Pokemon.
Yeah. Wow. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Hayley scares me.
Yeah. What a fearsome competitor.
And hey, props to Ben though, because he brought that back from like a 2-4 to a 1-1.
Yeah, I really appreciated his Trick Room reversal. He identified the win condition that lied in 3 to 5 turns in the future, and he was able to identify that and just execute it. And
I think also on the other side, Hayley understanding that, hey man, this guy's gonna bring Trick Room. I'm gonna get rid of everything that will benefit from that Trick Room usage and make sure he can't get the best use out of it. So going after that Amoonguss, going after that Aggron right away, it was just a good call on her part. She ignored that Mimikyu, which I was gonna say might have been a mistake early on, but I think was necessary for her to really make sure that Ben couldn't use the strategy he wanted to.
A part of me thinks that Ben was expecting a Dragon Dance on the Tyranitar at the start, but after seeing the low kick, that's when he knew that he could cancel out Trick Room without the possibility of being punished for that by getting set up and getting outsped. So Mimikyu is going to be really tricky for Hayley to deal with.
Yeah. And another point on both of these teams, these Pokemon have been living the most random moves that I think they would have fainted to. And it's been extremely surprising to be like, wow, that was super effective, but it still lived. And, excuse me, Ben really capitalizing on some of the fact that his Pokemon are still around for another turn. Heck yeah, he's going to use that to his advantage. So I think Hayley doubling down on certain Pokemon is a good choice, but it's been hard to watch in the sense that it doesn't have that push that it needs to get the knockout, which I think is what caused it to go from that 4-2 to basically that 1v1.
Yeah, I would like to see her identify earlier when she can go aggressive. Because I felt that on some of the turns where she was protecting and switching, there were possibilities for aggressive trading that might have given her a better board position.
But to be fair, that Mimikyu with that Destiny Bond is kind of scary as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you can't just say that it was a wrong play. It's just that while Hayley was trying to cover for the Ghost DMZ Destiny Bond, it just happens so that the way that teams interact, lack of a Dragon Dance, so on and so forth, they make it very difficult for Hayley to really just go through that one Pokemon.
Yeah. And so Hayley going with that same lead from game 2 with that Tyranitar and Celesteela as Ben goes back. I think that was his game 1 lead with that Tapu Koko and the Mimikyu. And so again, that Mimikyu's disguise, so important to break, because it's so, if you leave it alone, it does so much damage with that cute little smile of it. So
yeah, that's a smile. It's small.
I mean, these leads, I think Hayley's kind of in that same position she was in game 1, where she has to really consider, is it worth it losing to that Tapu Koko, because that Life Orb gives it so much of a boost.
Yeah. And I was gonna say that maybe Ben would adjust to what he thinks Hayley is adjusting with, because I remember saying that maybe Hayley should have conserved the Celesteela game 1, but actually they go for the same plays. Dazzling Gleam on the Koko. Yeah,
and so that Mega Tyranitar coming onto the field as the Dazzling Gleam connects with both, but the Play Rough goes into the Celesteela instead.
Calling the Guard Jump switch in.
And now that Tyranitar can be using Rock Slide, breaks the disguise onto that Mimikyu and brings Tapu Koko down to a little bit just underneath half. And now it's up to the Celesteela to decide where it's going to attack. Going for the Flash Cannon
On the
into
Coco?
that Coco slot, actually, I think,
Yeah, I'm really happy about that because we know from game 1 that it does not KO the Mimikyu after the disguise, and Coco is such an emergent threat to Celesteela, and I feel like with the high health Celesteela, Ben will be hard pressed to actually like bring it down, barring a Ghost DMZ Destiny Bond. But with the health that the Mimikyu has right now, I believe that Flash Cannon will leave it at a very low HP.
Well, and don't forget, the Flash Cannon now has that plus special attack.
Oh, now it is at +1, yeah.
And so Ben has that option to kind of Destiny Bond if he really wants to. The only problem is, like, you know, will Ben do that and will Hayley read into it? Because that Aggron, we know, has that Fire Punch, has a couple of, like, you know, really weird moves.
Spicy moves.
Those spicy, it brings the fire.
Right.
And I think, again, like, the hard part about that Destiny Bond on Ben's side is now you have to decide, is it worth going after that Mimikyu and what can I afford to lose for it?
Yeah, I think that's a very good way to look at it. With the way Hayley's playing right now, I think she doesn't really have a reason to switch. So I would just like to see her continue pressuring the Aggron because Game 1 just showed that, you know, going aggressively on the Mimikyu without a proper plan for the Destiny Bond just leads to a quick loss.
Alright, and going, so Ben going for that Mega Aggron play, but also now going for that Ghost DMZ, which, you know, I think might actually be that Destiny Bond this time, or...
Yeah,
it is.
Destiny Bond.
So, gonna have that effect of drawing all the attention to this Pokemon here, so it will be taking on something with it today. And it's definitely gonna be that, Celesteela, that +1 gonna help to knock out really easily. That low kick obviously not gonna be doing anything to that Mimikyu, so Tyranitar lives to see another day, but we are saying bye to the Celesteela, gonna be knocked out because of that Destiny Bond. Oh, and Heavy Slam from Aggron, finishing off this turn. I keep forgetting that Aggron is that slow. Not going to do that much damage despite the super effectiveness because, again, Heavy Slam is based off of the weight.
Yeah, both are big boys, so, you know, they just don't take as much damage from Heavy Slams.
They're the big boys of their region.
Oh, yeah.
And so Ben's last Pokemon being revealed to that Tapu Lele. That Moonblast going to be really nice against that Tyranitar. But now we have this really fast ICMZ Stoutland. I keep wanting to call it Mr. Woofus.
Mr. Woofus. He's a good boy. I think here, Tyranitar's in a kind of a weird spot because the Tapu Lele Moonblast should be able to threaten a knockout on this.
Don't forget about After You. Like this.
Yeah, that's true, but without a Z move or a boosting move, I am not sure if Tyranitar has the firepower to one-hit KO Tapu Lele from full health.
I mean, so actually, Hayley gonna be going for the Protect on her Tyranitar. Doesn't want to take a Moonblast to the face from that Tapu Lele as the return from the Stoutland goes into that Tapu Lele slot. Not enough to get a knockout, but it is enough to get it into the yellow as Tapu Lele goes for the Moonblast to that Stoutland. And Ben doubling down onto that Stoutland.
That looked like a lead.
Oh, very nice. So Ben doubling down to that Stoutland, picks up the knockout on there. And this Tyranitar burned its Protect this turn, so now we are in the 2v2 situation with this full health Aggron versus kind of this, oh man, is Hayley gonna go for an Earthquake at some point here? Because I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, I think it's okay for Hayley to go into Earthquake without worrying about Tyranitar, just because I don't think Tyranitar does much here in the first place. Because Garchomp should be faster, and the Earthquake at +0 should be able to get the knockout on the Lele at the given health.
Hayley, just like from matches that I've seen, has no issues Earthquaking her own Pokemon and knocking it out, and it is,
for sure.
She plays a very aggressive game. But, you know, like you said, that Tyranitar kind of feels like dead weight a little bit over here, not being able to do that much. But actually, her Garchomp going for Protect, not going to be attacking on this turn as Tapu Lele goes for the Moonblast into the Tyranitar slot. Going to be picking up that knockout on there, and now this Aggron's going to be attacking this Garchomp for that Heavy Slam. And this Lele, that slow chip damage still getting to it, and is now in the red.
Because if the Lele was Scarf, then that might change things, but I don't think it was, right?
I'm not quite sure what that Lele might have. Actually, to be fair, though, all we've seen it use.
Oh, it is Scarf.
But the avoid! The avoid from that Sand Blade coming in to collect, switching out that rough skin. Very good choice on there. Oh my goodness.
That just changes the game entirely.
Oh my god.
That
critical, okay, but that's a critical hit though on an Earthquake. So this is gonna come down to a lot of things right here.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
That Aggron Heavy Slam damage onto this Garchomp is this is actually going to come down to a lot of numbers, I think, at this point. That
Yeah.
Sand Veil coming into clutch for Hayley, managing to avoid that Moonblast. Oh my freaking gosh.
Oh wow.
All right, so Earthquake now once more from
Damage rolls and
Garchomp.
critical hits.
And,
Let's go.
you know, Hayley's going to be crossing her fingers and hoping for the best here. Oh, Aggron's so
Oh,
close in
there
there.
it is.
But now this Heavy Slam is also going to be a damage roll. We're going to see exactly
Was
what's
the
going to
last bit
happen.
a high roll or a low
Because
roll?
now... Oh, okay. So all Hayley has to do is click
Wow.
Earthquake. I don't know if you guys could hear everybody in the background groaning on him, but this is like one of those things where you're kind of sitting on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Hayley clicking Earthquake, that Sand Veil, just getting that
Wow.
evasion on that Moonblast, getting her game 3 against this Aggron. But oh my god, that was such good plays from from both of those players. That was kind of really nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It's one of those matches where you weren't really quite sure who was going to win at what point. Like, those damage rolls are like, whoo!
That was a really good set to watch, though, I think, because both players had played to their outs to the best of their ability. Even if it was a 5% chance or a 10% chance, they still took what was the best chance for them, and that gave them the best position to win. And I think that's what Pokemon's all about.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Can
happy to see that.
I will say, I thought that was going to be an electrifying match. It turned out to be groundbreaking. I had to. But honestly,
Alright.
you know, those last couple of turns, just when you thought that it would be wrapped up, that critical hit on the Aggron with the Earthquake, that dodge from the Moonblast, just absolutely crazy. And, you know, I think it was so smart of Bendo to capitalize on that special attack Beast Boost from Celesteela and saying, hey, yeah, I'll give you those special attack boosts, but I'm taking you down with me next turn with this Destiny Bond.
Yeah.
And, it just seems like such a random team that Ben put together, but it worked really well.
Yeah, it had a very coherent Trick Room mode that I didn't expect, but I felt that he was able to play that in a very all-in kind of style, but, you know, Hard Trick Room is no stranger to doing well in BC. Gavin Michaels from SoCal, he won 2 regionals with Hard Trick Room. That team had a very strong and interesting Hard Trick Room mode.
I mean, that was just kind of intense, and both of these players playing really weird teams, doing it really well, and showing good matches against them. And so, you know, that was our last round. We will be taking a break, I think, for about maybe half an hour? Half an hour-ish or so. We're gonna go raid Latios raid for Pokemon Go, though, so who knows?
Do you play Pokemon Go? Oh my god.
So we will see you guys for Top Cut in a while, though. We will post probably on Twitter what those standings are in a little while. So, see you guys in a while.
See you soon.
Bye.